that I don't understand. One of which is, and I see this pop up in my Facebook or whatever I'm looking at, that you can record a meeting with your watch. I don't know anything about that, but does anybody have anything here that we can use to record the meeting? Because it would make the minutes a lot easier.
I've got a recording going right here, Doug.
Thank you.
Go, Rob!
All right, great. Meeting adjourned. Let's go. Meetings that we filled by election, and I do apologize if not everyone. Let me just say this: vote builder's a bit thin on the accuracy part, so we got a lot of bounce backs on the emails, a lot of attachments I don't think went through. I apologize for that. But we're going to muddle through and do the best we can. So at this time, we will call, I guess I should have introduced myself, Doug Howard, Chair, 10th District. And we'll call this to order. Hey, Katama to do that. All meetings of the Democratic Party are prefaced with an inclusion statement, and I'm going to read that. All public meetings at all levels of the North Carolina Democratic Party shall be open to all members of the Democratic Party, regardless of race, sex, age, color, creed, national origin, religion, ethnic identity, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, economic status, or disability. In order that the Democratic Party at all levels be an open party, which includes rather than excludes people from participation, a program of effective affirmative action has been adopted by the North Carolina Democratic Party. Discrimination on the basis of status in the conduct of the North Carolina Democratic Party affairs is prohibited. And I'm asking my daughter, Shannon, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All can stand, if not, stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the North Carolina salute.
I salute the flag of North Carolina and pledge to the old North State love, loyalty, and faith.
Thank you. We are in Arville County. I think the brief history of my tenure is the only county that we now will not have been in is my home county. So but we very much appreciate the hospitality, so much so that we've asked the leading figure of Iredell County, or at least certainly Statesville, David Park, former NCDP chair, a few words. The microphone is yours.
My wife is in the room, so I'm clearly not the leading person of Iredell County. I realized coming in here, driving over, we only live about 2 blocks that way, that the first time I spoke at a Congressional District Convention was in 1976, running as a Carter delegate to the Democratic Convention, which I lost, but it was a great experience, and I enjoyed it. Doug is giving me 5 minutes to welcome you, and all I have to do with the rest of the time is tell you how to lose, how to win, and what to do. I got 5 minutes. So here's the welcome. This is from Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, for those of you of a certain age. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. So welcome to you all. Here's the here's the guts. Every election, every show, if you will, tests our resolve to govern ourselves without kings or clerics. Every one of them is the most important election you've ever been. Politics in a democracy is a substitute for armed rebellion. Our job in this party of democracy is to keep it that way, to make sure that armed rebellion is not the tool for changing leaders. So here are the three things I'm supposed to talk about: how to lose, how to win, what to do. How to lose. It's not enough to despise the other side. It causes despair, and despair is the enemy of democracy. Cussing that orange-headed buffoon suppresses the vote. Tempting, easy, don't do it. It's not enough to only tell voters in get-out-the-vote drives to vote their identity. Stacey Abrams and Doug Jones taught us that identity politics is noble, but not enough. And it's insulting to the intelligence of the voter. If you say to a voter, oh, you're fill in the blank, you're going to vote Democratic, you've insulted that voter. Don't do it. It's not enough to whine about and blame dark money, redistricting, false religion, and racism. They are merely the tools of a natural minority trying desperately to conserve their personal wealth and their personal power. That's how to lose. How to win. Persuasion. That's your job. Persuasion of swing voters, whether they are Republican, undecided, or Democrats. What do we say when we knock doors or make calls or talk to our friends or post on social media? It's like James Carville told Bill Clinton back in 1992. I see from the gray hair here, a lot of you remember that election. What did he say, remember? It's the economy, stupid. It's the economy, stupid. Here are the questions. Here's what people want to know. How much does gas cost at the pump? Can we pay our student loans? Will AI take our jobs? Will our children be better off than we are? Will we outlive our retirement funds? Can we afford health care? That's what people care about. The other stuff is fascinating. That's what people care about. We have to have concrete economic plans. You can hear from Wesley Harris, the PhD in economics. He knows about economics. You need more than theory, you need concrete plans. Wesley, we want concrete plans wherever you are. Number two, concrete plans to enable personal success. What are the keys to personal success? Education, access to capital, and a strong moral compass. Those are the keys. So how do we do that? We talk about universal public education, not subsidized private education, true public education. The ability to build wealth and borrow money. You can't start a business, keep a business, buy a new house. You can't do anything if you cannot accumulate wealth and have the ability to go into that bank and borrow money. This is just concrete politics. Freedom of personal religion and belief. This is that strong moral compass thing. Without state intervention and without an American Taliban. Number three, make our country and our world safe for democracy and enforce free and fair trade. These are concrete things. This is not pie-in-the-sky stuff. Eliminating tyranny by whatever title it may claim. Pure narcissism, oligarchs, communists, the uber-wealthy, terrorists, strongmen, criminals, clerics, doesn't matter. We're the party of democracy. We need to have a plan. Freedom of the seas. It's essential for free and fair trade. What's happening right now with your gas prices? Why did it happen? Because freedom of the seas has been compromised. compromise. The orange-headed defendant. Sorry, I will say bad things every once in a while. And the third one, again, Wesley can talk about this, and Ashley may want to talk about this too, but it's really boring. The U.S. dollar as the stable international exchange currency. It's extremely boring. Half of you have already gone to sleep. I can see you from here. But it is what makes everything happen. It is what makes everything happen. So what can we do now? Three things. Those of y'all that have heard me speak before, Cliff Moon, have heard these three things. Number one, show up. Well, you are here, but support those candidates. Support that guy running for Catawba County School Board, whose district is going to get eliminated about 10 minutes after he's elected. Show up for those candidates that people have never heard of because they need your energy. They need your support. They need your love. They also need your money. The second thing you can do is ante up. You need to give more than you can afford. Because if you can afford it, it's not enough. We cannot afford as a people to give less than we're comfortable with. Think about that. Show up, ante up. And the third one, speak up. Talk, post, blog to your family and friends, and talk about strengthening the economy for all people. That's free public education, access to capital. Having a strong moral compass, free from a state-sponsored cult. And for those of us who are believers, and I am, making this God's own country by living like God's own people. Listen, making this God's own country by living like God's own people.
Amen.
And the third thing is making this country and our elections and our world safe for democracy. So welcome back, my friends, to the Democratic Party.
Thank you. I should introduce, on my right, Nancy Miller, the treasurer of the 10th. Sunita Johnson, first vice chair, has just joined us. Cliff Moon, our parliamentarian. Clark County. Jeannie Jones. Ah, yes. You're invited to the big stage, third vice chair. I don't know the answer to the question I'm about to ask, which is who's here from Yankton? Is Rachel here? Rachel, please join us up here. Rachel, meet us. Okay. So we do recognize that there's a vacancy in the second that is on the agenda to fill today. The NCDP did recommend to the district chairs that had any vacancies, get them in on this meeting and close them out. So we're going to do that. Not this minute, but it's on the agenda. Next item. Moment of reflection and inspiration. If everybody take a minute, decompress, and think of the things that are important to us. Thank you. Well, let's see if we're official. What can you tell us? Do we have a quorum?
Well, we have,
Come right up to the mic.
well, we have a representative from every county, in the 10th district, and that will count as having a quorum.
Perfect. All I'm having a technology challenge here, trying to get my clock to work. Thank you. Good to have you aboard, in fact. So much so that, and Cliff, I don't know why this is the case, that if you have a secretary, why we appoint another secretary for the convention itself, but that's what we're going to do. Without objection, I am going to ask Rachel to fill that role, and I'm hoping that's enthusiastically supported. Perfect, thank you. This is where I said we sent the agenda out, we sent the minutes out, we sent the standing rules of order for the day. Not sure everybody got a copy. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Ayes carried. Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from 2025.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second, please. Second. You know what? Let me pause there for a second. We should be identified. Let me roll back here just a half second. On the agenda, that was your motion?
Made the motion.
Who is the second?
I'll second. I seconded it.
So we need name and county.
Kimberly Turk, Catawba County.
Thank you. Okay, so for my mistake there. For the minutes, whose motion?
I motioned again, make it easy on you, cut and paste.
Who seconded it? Thank you. Okay. And with that, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes carried. Okay, I think in the past we've read these, and I don't mind going through it, but it's, what is the pleasure of the convention?
I move that we dispense with the reading of the rules of the document as submitted.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay.
You have to ask if there's debate on that.
Excuse me.
It's not debate. You might not have it.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Before the vote, everybody want to speak for or against the motion to approve the minutes, the rules as submitted? All right, heard none, but I want to make a comment to my own rules, because I don't want it to bounce back later. Rule 7, let me read Rule 7. The chair may take voice votes, standing votes, or ballot votes for any and all matters, including the election of officers. The reason I'm saying this is we, in full candor, are probably not equipped to do a weighted ballot vote, because I don't have the weighting of each of the delegations by county. So this rule allows us to fill vacancies or elect to the standing committees by standing or voice vote or whatever we decide to do. So I wanted to be clear about that point. Any questions about what I just said about the rules? Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes carry. Thank you. Okay, so one of the things that I've come to face living in Catawba County in North Carolina is that not all of the counties, Lincoln, Iredell, less so for Siler, but the more rural counties, we don't get to experience winning. And we get used to showing up and thinking that's good enough. But the fact is, we have eked out a few victories, 2025 in particular. So what I wanted to do was ask the county chairs to come up and spend a couple of minutes talking about their successes from 2025 and their plans for their county for 2026. And I also do this to recognize another important reality that Cliff didn't tell me about. District organization within the party structure is less than vital, as evidenced by the fact that it isn't even in the strategic plan that we approved a couple of years ago. But we recognize where the work is done, and that's at the county level, without a doubt. So, I am going to ask all of the county chairs, if hopefully come to the mic or come up here if you wish. And it's a pleasure to start with Iredell County, not just because it's our home county, but our chair, Beth Kendall, is also the president of the County Chairs Association, that which we call the chair of the chairs. So, no further ado, Beth Kendall.
This morning. Good. I like that. So guys, we are building something extremely powerful in Iredell for 2026. After extensive planning and organizing in 2025, we're entering the cycle even stronger and more connected and more prepared than we ever have been. In 2025, we had more precincts organized than we did in 2024, and in 2026, now we have more than we did in 2025. And y'all know that growth really matters. It means that we're not just standing still, that we're building and we're expanding and we're creating the kind of local infrastructure that wins, not only just wins elections, but can create some lasting change. So one of our biggest priorities this year is reaching voters wherever they are, including in places that are traditionally difficult for us to canvass in. So we know that every voter isn't easy to reach through just knocking on the doors, and particularly in our most rural counties in the northern part of Iredell. So we're developing a volunteer strategy to make that outreach more personal and more effective. So we want this to feel more neighbor to neighbor and less transactional. Our volunteers are going to have 15 to 20 voters that are kind of their voters, and they're going to reach out to them every couple of weeks in the beginning, and then weekly as it gets closer to the fall, and that person is going to become their sort of trusted election information source. And hopefully they're going to be able to help these folks to make their plan to get to the polls and help us to be able to expand into a place that we've never really knocked doors before. So we're going to determine how effective and efficient that hopefully is. And it's just a creative new way to take advantage of people who want to be doing more texting and phone calling, but building that relationship along the way. So we're also carrying the lessons forward that we learned from 2024. And one of the clearest lessons that we learned here is that canvassing works the best whenever it feels human and welcoming and just more joyful. So not only for the people that were knocking at their doors, but for the volunteers as well. And volunteers tend to come back whenever they're feeling more connected and voters are more open to that outreach because it feels more thoughtful and it just feels more genuine. So we're continuing one of our most meaningful ideas, leaving friendship bracelets at the doors with a small card that connects people to the Democratic Party here in Iredell County. It's simple, it's friendly, and it just lets people know that we're not only asking for their vote, but we're extending an invitation to come and join us. We're kicking off the fall with a volunteer palooza, where we have folks come in and learn all the needs that our candidates have, that our county party has. And then we're gathering for our signature fundraiser in September the 19th, and we would love it if all of you guys could come as well. The theme for this event is Joy is Resistance, because honestly, it is. We know that this work is serious, and we know that the stakes are high, but we also know that joy is not a distraction from the work that we're doing. It's part of how we actually sustain it. And so whenever everything feels so heavy out there, that's what helps keep people coming back. It builds the community, and it helps remind folks what we're fighting for. We're going to be doing a rock the vote in the early part of fall, right whenever early voting starts. And then, of course, we're going to be doing our poll observing and bringing back our party at the polls so that every Democrat in the county knows that they have a welcoming Democratic presence at the polls whenever they go and cast their ballot. Everything that we do in Iredell is rooted in the belief that we can't keep simply doing things the way that we have been and expect different results. We've got to be willing to push at the status quo, try new ideas, meet new voters beyond just the traditional Democratic base. And that means especially engaging our unaffiliated voters here. They often will lean our way on issues and values, but they don't feel like they have a home in the Democratic Party. So it's our job to make them feel welcome here. And it's our job to teach them that they belong here and to make them come over to our side. In my role in the County Party Chairs Association, I bring that same perspective to the state level. I'm deeply committed to making sure that counties outside of the traditional metro areas are heard and valued, and not just those counties immediately surrounding the Raleigh area. Strong organizing, as I'm sure Wesley will talk about later, includes all of North Carolina. It's so important that every single Democratic vote goes out and actually votes. I'm so proud to bring you guys' voice to the table. But above all else, in Iredell and across North Carolina, what I keep coming back to is that if we want people to stay in this work, we have to make room for the joy. The work is serious, like I said, it's heavy and the stakes are high, but if it feels exhausting, then every task is just gonna feel like a burden and people burn out. We wanna make them feel energized, we wanna make them feel connected and make them feel hopeful. And we want them to have fun. Because whenever people are having fun, they come back. And whenever people feel welcome, they bring their friend. And whenever people feel like that they belong, they help build something bigger. And that's what we need to win elections here. That's what we're doing in Iredell, and that's what I hope all of you guys are doing. And that's what 2026 looks like in Iredell. And while I'm up here, I also want to invite everybody after convention at like 1:30 this afternoon, hopefully after convention, and then go grab some lunch. Come over to our headquarters, because we've got all the supplies to make friendship bracelets, and we need your help so we can have these at all 15,000 plus stores we knocked this year. Thanks, guys.
From Forsyth County, we've asked Chair Jane Marshall to join us. Perfect. Thank you. And everyone knows that Jane also doubles as a DNC member out of North Carolina, so maybe she can tell us some good inside things.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know about the inside. It seems like everything's on the inside, it's on the outside. When it comes to the DNC, we hear it in the news all the time. I'm up here to just talk about Forsyth County just for a second. Forsyth County is blue, yes. But our smaller municipalities are purple but feel red, or red themselves. But in 2025, we put an emphasis for the first time to get our municipalities, Democrats, elected to those boards. We wanted to retain the seats in, I'm going to mention some cities, and you might not be aware of these cities, but just trust me. Clemens and Walkertown, two small municipalities in Forsyth County. We kept the two Democrats that were on those seats. And I'm going to step back for just a second, because you all probably have nonpartisan municipality races. Most of you do. We do not. Forsyth County, Winston-Salem has partisan races, and for the first time ever, all of the small municipalities went from nonpartisan to partisan. So these folks have been sitting on boards for a very long time, just coming up and running their races in a nonpartisan way, but this time in 2025, everybody had either a D behind their name, an R behind their name, or a U, which made it even more challenging in some of these places and spaces. But we retained our seats in Clemens and Walkertown, with two Democrats retaining their seats. But what's more remarkable is in the town of Kernersville, which feels very red, but is not as red as what people think it is. We took a majority on the town council. We took 3 seats. We ran 3 Democrats. We won 3 seats out of 5. We even closely almost unseated a very long-term Republican mayor, but didn't quite get there. Now, what is even more remarkable is in the small town of Louisville, about 14,000 people. There are about 10,000 registered voters in that municipality. Only 2,000 of them are Democrats. We won the mayor's seat, and 3 out of 6 seats on the Louisville County Council. That was a lot of hard work. We knocked a lot of doors in all these municipalities, and we're getting ready to seat yet another person in a small rural hall municipality this November with one of our people that ran in 2025. They're running again this year, unusually. But we're going to get her elected too. Why? Because we're out in community. We're out talking to people about the things that matter to them. Affordability, housing, jobs. And in Rural Hall, they want to put a big old data center. Yep. And that's got people up in arms. And when we talk about things that people find important, we find common ground. And common ground is where we get people to come over and vote for the Democrats that we know are going to be better for their communities and better for North Carolina and better for this United States. Right. So that's what we're focused in on here in Forsyth County. Secondly, we just hired our first staff person. We fundraised hard for it last year, and we have hired a really great guy. His name is CJ Staples, and he is just building community and talking to folks about what it means to do relational organizing, which means we're, again, back to what Beth said, humanity at the doors. When we're really understanding where people are, we can meet them and invite them over to the Democratic Party and understand that we have the candidates that are going to be better for community, going to be better in the long term when it comes to legislating, and going to unseat the North Carolina House members that we need to get rid of, the North Carolina Senate members that we need to get rid of, and better for this state. We have some really great candidates, and y'all are sitting here, you are the hardest workers. You have shown up on a Saturday at a district convention. You are the lifeblood of our party, and I want to thank you for that. You all are doing that work. And you all are showing up for those candidates, but we need to bring as many people as we can to get organized now, because our candidates are running, and they need support. And they need people out knocking doors, and they need people to go table for them, and they need people to spread the word, because when we talk to our neighbors, we will win this election. I cannot wait till November, and I hope you can't either. You come with it with the joy that Beth talked about, and you come with it with the ferocity that we will win in November, because when we work, we win. We win. Thank you very much.
I think this is bearing out that the work is done at the county level. We had a slight change. Catawba County Chair Michael McLean unable to join us this morning. And Kimberly Turk, please come to the mic. I'll probably get this wrong, but are you first or second? First vice chair. This one happens when the chairs don't show up. We get the better people, the first vice chair.
Michael didn't give me much warning, so I didn't have time to put on a bald cap, but he did send me some notes for today, so I'll do my best to be him. In 2025, Hickory was targeted by an NCDP, and we ran 2 strong candidates who both had a strong ground game, knocking thousands of doors. Arnita Dula, who's a longtime public servant, flipped a ward seat held by a 3-term Republican incumbent by a near 20-point margin. Park Inglefield ran a strong campaign against a 4-term Republican mayor and career city police officer. She came up roughly 400 votes short and rattled the establishment to its core. The election aftermath was even more interesting. The Hickory City Council has since approved a resolution which has introduced legislation to move its election to even years to increase turnout. I'm going to paraphrase, what a crock of crap. That's not what he really wrote. In 2026, despite this trickery, in Hickory, we're moving ahead with our renewed enthusiasm and a data-driven campaign and GOTV work. Greg Cranfield is running for NC Senate 45. Spider Thompson is running for HD 89, and Park Inglefield is pursuing HD 96. We have a full slate, 3 candidates running for our 3 open county commissioner seats, and they are all locals to Catawba County. We have 4 candidates running for various school boards. Our focus is on empowering our precincts and building connections amongst our neighbors. We believe we have a better path forward for our county, state, and nation, and we're going to work like hell to increase turnout.
Lincoln County, Steve Killian. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. One word about Lincoln County. 1/6 of the registered voters in Lincoln County were Democrat. Slightly uphill run. But in 2025, we did organize 22 out of 23 precincts. We did our SWOT analysis and subsequently developed a strategic plan which included implementation of communication and media campaign, implementation of candidate recruitment and development, implementation of Get Out the Vote campaign, implementation of community involvement and presence campaign. We had no elections in 2025, so it was time to have fun. We held the first annual drag queen brunch, and we raised $1,000 unexpectedly. We also won the second annual Big Fat Chili Cook-Off contest. We had the best green white chili, and we won the People's Choice Award, and that was the first thing we won in 4 years. In 2026, we officially formed the LGBTQ+ caucus, and has anybody seen Matt Aycock? We're hunting for him. We're keeping our office open. We own a building. We're keeping the office open 6 days a week, 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. This has been a godsend. People drop in that didn't even know we had a Democrat Party in Lincoln County. We recruited a number of volunteers that way, and it is paying off. We're doing phone banking right now. We just started, and our goal is to contact every Democrat in Lincoln County. Texting campaign will follow. We're going to use a daisy chain. Postcard writing is ongoing. In 2024, we wrote over 10,000 postcards. All those were mailed locally. All 10,000 went to our local registered Democrats and unaffiliated. We're starting up canvassing in May with the coordinated campaign, and then we're going to go out in the directions to support candidates. Right now we're prepping to mail over 10,000 sample ballots to 12,000 households. I think we'll probably have a few more households before it's all over with. One of our community projects that we are engaged in is starting to pay dividends. We were contacted by Latino nonprofits, and we are working hard to support them, and they are on board. We are learning a lot about our community. One group in particular, if everything pays off, they will become a 501c3. And let me tell you, the Latinos rock. Thank you.
Our final county yet I'm sorry, I'm trying to get that back. Okay. Bradley. Yes, come on up, please, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Bradley Hardy. I'm the chair of the Yakima County Democratic Party. I've got some good news. For the first time in 49 years, all precincts in Yakima County have been organized. for the first time in quite a while, I'm not sure how long ago it was, but for the first time in quite a while, we are contesting both of our seats in the General Assembly. We have Sabrina Harris running in the 77th District in the House, and we've got Trevor Cole Hardwick, who's running for the State Senate 36. Hopefully he'll be joining Senator Lowe pretty soon. We have developed a strategic plan. The first time we've had one that I'm aware of. We've got a QR code so that people can quickly donate to our ActBlue account. We have been having a parade in the 4th of July, float in the 4th of July parade. Last year we decided to do something different, and we were in the Christmas parade, and it was very well received. We are working with the Board of Elections to try to get them a new permanent building. The building that they were in, they were evicted from, so we're trying to work with the Republican Party to encourage the Board of Commissioners to get them a permanent building. We have, like I said, Trevor Cole Hardwick is running for the State Senate. And we've got a fundraiser coming up on May the 30th. We hope you all will join us. We're going to have Justice Anita Earls there. She's going to be one of the speakers. That's May 30th from 5 to 8 at the Yadkin Valley Trails and Heritage Center. And if you're interested in learning more about Trevor Hardwick, I encourage you to visit his website, Hardwick, HARDWICK, NC.com. As for the year coming up, we're hoping to develop a website for the county party and attend more county commissioner meetings and board of education meetings and turn Yadkin County as blue as we possibly can. Thank you so much.
Give me a moment here, I'm going to get that back. Okay. One of the things that the agenda did provide for is a little shuffling if candidates who have commitments later in the day get here and we want to accommodate their schedule. And without objection from the floor, if we may adjust, Judge Toby Hampson has joined us. He has commitments, I think, in the 6th afterwards. And if there's no objection, I would like to welcome him to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, good morning, Democrats. I am Judge Toby Hampson, one of your statewide elected North Carolina Court of Appeals judges. It's been an absolute honor to serve you for the last over 7 years. But let me tell you, and I think I can speak for our entire statewide judicial slate when I say we are so ready to run for re-election and start taking the fight for justice back. We know these are anxious times. It feels like every day our fundamental freedoms, our constitutional rights are under just constant threat. Things that maybe we've taken for granted. Things like due process, freedom of speech, perhaps especially the right to vote. And we've seen that time and time again, even just in the last couple of weeks. But these times call for us to stand strong in the face of injustice. And that's why when last year, Republican colleagues on my court were willing to put in place a process that could have disenfranchised over 68,000 North Carolina voters in the race for the Supreme Court. I was proud to stand in dissent and write that you don't change the rules of an election after votes have been cast, counted, and canvassed. And ultimately, it took a federal judge, appointed by Donald Trump, no less, to look at what our state Supreme Court majorities and state Court of Appeals majorities was doing and say, that's unconstitutional. Think about that. Think about that. Our state Supreme Court, our Court of Appeals, our courts that are there that are supposed to preserve our constitutional rights are being told that they're acting in a manner that is itself unconstitutional. And that's why I'm running for re-election, because we need judges that will stand up for the rule of law. We understand that our system of justice can only work when it serves the people and not an extreme partisan agenda. And yet, what we see from partisan majorities on our courts are decisions that throw out fair maps, decisions that throw out 30 years of litigation just trying to obtain basic funding for public education. And yes, decisions that have the potential to throw out your votes. All the while, paving the way for utility companies to raise your rates. Corporations to dump waste into your waterways. And decisions rolling back fundamental protections for you to have your day in court before a jury of your peers. You know, this is why these races matter. This is why judicial races matter. You know, in 2024, you know, there was about a 200,000 vote drop-off statewide between Kamala Harris and Josh Stein and Allison Riggs running for North Carolina Supreme Court. Understand, Justice Riggs won re-election by 734 votes. We need to get the vote out. We need to get folks voting in these judicial races, because here's what's at stake in 2026. In 2026, we have one seat up on our North Carolina Supreme Court. Justice Nita Earls is running for re-election in her seat. And that seat's so critical because that court is currently 5-2 Republicans to Democrats. So we need Justice Earls to hold her seat on that court. If we do that in 2028, we have the opportunity to take back a majority on our North Carolina Supreme Court when 3 Republican justices come up for election. On my court, the North Carolina Court of Appeals, we are a 15-member court. We are currently made up of 12 Republicans and 3 Democrats. On your ballot in November will be the last 3 Democratic seats. We absolutely have to hold those seats. You know, I've heard our opponents talking about having a clean sweep of the courts in November. We can't let that happen. We cannot let that happen. We have to hold these critically important 3 North Carolina Court of Appeals seats. And again, if we do that, when we do that, in 2028, 5 Republican-held seats come up for election, including the seat currently held by my colleague Jefferson Griffin. If we take back those 5 seats in 2028, we'll also have a majority on the North Carolina Court of Appeals. So we have a path to take back our courts. We have a path to bring justice and partiality and independence back to our courts, but it has to start in 2026 by holding on to these critical seats. You know, and my court, the Court of Appeals, is in fact the court of last resort in almost all cases that go up on appeals. You know, we're talking about cases involving workers' compensation and workers' rights. We're talking about cases involving property rights, zoning and planning issues. We're talking about cases that impact what you're paying for insurance, what you're paying for utility rates, you know, compensation if you're injured, contracts, what it means to be a family, parental rights, family law cases. So you start to see how critically important the North Carolina Court of Appeals is in people's day-to-day lives. And so here's what we're going to do in 2026. With your help, We're going to re-elect Justice Anita Earls to the North Carolina Supreme Court. We're going to vote on all 3 Court of Appeal seats, including seat number 1. We're going to re-elect my good friend Judge John Arrowwood to seat number 1. Seat number 3 on the North Carolina Court of Appeals, we have the amazing Judge Christine Walzig, who's a Wake County District Court judge running to hold that open seat. She's brilliant, she's fantastic, and we have to elect Justice Christine or Judge Christine Walzig. And with your help, with your support, with your contributions, and most importantly though, with the power of your vote, I hope to keep serving you on the North Carolina Court of Appeals. I am Judge Toby Hampson. Find out more about me at JudgeTobyHampson.com. Thank you for all the work you're doing here today on the ground. We're going to win these things in 2026. Thank you.
Tall agenda, and we need to perform. What we like to do during a convention is recognize elected officials that are here, and county chairs will know that best. Are there, do we have input from county chairs on elected officials that have joined us? And I'm holding out the NCGA for a minute because we've asked them to speak. But are there any elected officials? If so, stand up. That's the way to do it. Ah! Now we have asked, again, going back to my theme of we don't get a lot of experience with winning in the 10th Congressional District as a Democrat. So we've asked the legislators who live in the 10th, don't represent the 10th, but live in the 10th, who represent in the House or the state Senate, and we have asked them to come up and share with us how to win. Senator Paul Lowe. Okay. And very good. He's going to politic his way to the stage. Thank you very much.
It's good to be here amongst all of you Democrats. We are fighting the fight, and many of you have heard me say this before. It's worse than what you think it is. It really is. The game that these folks are playing, they will do anything to win and anything to stay in power. And we have to have clarity on that. I was glad to hear from Judge Hampson talk about the importance of getting Judge Anita Earl elected. Because if we can continue to work to get our judges elected, work to get and hold on to the governor's mansion, we can make the changes that need to be made. As you know, everybody wants to think about, well, we have gerrymandered districts. Because we have gerrymandered districts, we can't do all we need to do. But if we hold on to the courts and we hold on to the governor's mansion, we have the ability, even as a minority party, to fix it. So it's so important, and we can't make it without the work of the precincts and the works of the county parties. I have, at one point in life, I remember when me and David Parker, we used to run up and down the road, and I was a district chair, and he was a party chair, and we did all kinds of things. That was during the days of tax checkoff. Some of you remember that, some of you don't. Cliff, you remember those days. Well, we don't have all of those things that we used to have, but we still have the energy and the power to get out and win. And we must win because health care is on the line. We must win because education is on the line. We must win because jobs are on the line. So we've got to win. And we can't win without your support. I'm looking at, I was on a call on Monday night. It was Monday, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, with the National Conference of State Black Legislators, along with the Congressional Black Caucus. And we were talking about what was happening before our eyes in Tennessee, and what was happening in Alabama, and what is happening in Georgia. And we're real close to that. You have no idea how close we are to that. I've been in, how many districts have I been in now? I've been in the 5th, I've been in the 6th, and now I'm in the 10th. And I remember fussing about the 10th district because I said it just, how you finagle it from one end of the state to the other, it's not right. But while it's not right, we still have to continue the fight. The fight for democracy goes on. The fight for fair district goes on. The fight for good education goes on. The fight for an economy that supports everyone goes on.
Yeah.
And we are a part of that fight, and I thank all of you for your continued support. Every now and then I hear people say, well, I hear that you talk to them. Well, I've got to fight with them. And I've got to know the enemy that I'm fighting. So that means I got to talk to them sometimes. But that's what we have to do. But if we ever can flip this thing, that means that we can make some real change. God bless you, and may God keep you.
We've also asked Representative Kamika Brown to join us. Okay. And Representative Amber Baker, I think you had comments from her. Please share. Thank you.
Representative Baker was, she had other issues that she got to attend to today. Okay. Well, because I'm short. Yes, I wore my sneakers today. No folks. This is a statement from Representative Baker. She says, dear members of the 10th District Convention, thank you for the opportunity to address you today. I am truly grateful for your continued commitment to the communities and to the democratic process. It is unfortunate that I am unable to be with you in person due to an unavoidable scheduling conflict. Please know that I am with you in spirit, and I deeply appreciate the work that each of you continues to do to strengthen our communities. As we look forward to the 2026 midterm elections, we must remain clear about what is at stake. The decisions made this election will shape the election of our state in very real ways. It will affect our future. From our educational system, where funding decisions impact classroom resources, teacher support, and student outcomes, to healthcare, where ongoing decisions around access, affordability, and Medicaid continue to affect families across North Carolina and beyond. There are no abstract issues. They are daily realities for the people whom we serve. We know the investments in education determine not only the success of our students, but also the strength of our workforce and economy for years to come. At the same time, healthcare access, including programs like Medicaid, remains critical to ensuring that individuals and families can receive the care they need without unnecessary barriers. These are the types of issues that will continue to be shaped by leadership and policy decisions following the upcoming election. This moment calls for continued engagement throughout leadership and a shared commitment to progress. Your presence here today reflects the power of civic participation. It also serves as a reminder of the importance of voting and staying actively involved in the democratic process. Elections are one of the most direct ways communities can help shape the priorities and the direction of our state. I encourage each of you to continue organizing, advocating, and ensuring that every voice in our community is heard. The work you are doing matters, and it has a lasting impact. Thank you again for your dedication and for the work you are doing every day. I look forward to continuing this work alongside you. Signed, Representative Dr. Amber M. Baker, District 72.
There. All right, well, I try to figure this part out. Oh, wait. Sorry about that. So we had, as many of you know, as a measure of the enthusiasm to make a change and make a real contribution to the future of this state and the country. We had 6 candidates run for the 10th Congressional District primary, which is, again, a real statement about the level of interest. And I'm pleased to have joined us today the winner of that primary. Technically a very solid campaign, and we congratulate her. Please join us. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm a college professor and we walk around when we talk. Hello, I am Ashley Bell and I am your next Congresswoman from the 10th District. In case you don't know me, I am a PA, I'm a healthcare provider. I've been a healthcare provider for 15 years. I'm a Wake Forest graduate. And I am also, like I said, a college professor. I've been teaching since I was 23 years old in one way or another. And now I'm in politics. And just to let you know a little bit about me, and I haven't talked about this too much because it really was never relevant, but when I decided to do this, I was actually working on my 2nd doctorate. I have one already. And then I decided that I would rather run for Congress than write a dissertation. And I'm really not sure which one was worse. But anyway, here we are. I was actually working on my 2nd doctorate with MGH in Boston, and I was trained by Harvard data scientists. So I know my numbers. And we have the numbers to win this thing.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And we do not have to go after MAGA. We do not. We can win this thing with Democrats and unaffiliated.
That's right.
And as such, you're going to see our campaign focus heavily on unaffiliated voters. You're going to start wondering if I'm an unaffiliated voter now, because I'm going to be so into the unaffiliated voters that it's going to be crazy. So get real comfortable with unaffiliated voters, because we're coming for them. Unaffiliated voters, I think there is a misconception that they are all centrist. That is not true. They actually are pretty often on the far end of right or left. They are unaffiliated a lot of times because they're sick of both parties.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't blame them. Because what we have going on right now in the country is just a big freaking mess. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. My campaign is built on 3 main pillars. You can see them on the screen: authenticity, accountability, and action. And I'm going to get real authentic with you in this speech. So first of all, if you don't know me, I'm pretty blunt. I'm just going to give it to you straight. We just need to be honest about where we are in the campaign. Yes, this is a very difficult district. It is not unwinnable.
That's right.
Especially in the environment we're in.
Yeah.
And so I need everybody who thinks that it is unwinnable and who automatically assumes that we're going to lose, I need you to change your mind right freaking now. Because I'm sick of hearing it. I'm sick of hearing it. I have put my life on hold for over a year to run for this seat. I have put myself in financial jeopardy. I have ruined my mental health. And I need to see something back from y'all. Because right now, I'm not seeing the fight in this district that we need in order to win. We need fight in this district.
Yes, we do. That's right.
Like I said, I know my numbers. If we get our Democratic base and we get at least 51% of the unaffiliated vote, we will win this thing. And we have a definite plan in order to get that. Nobody's coming to save us. Least of all the Cooper campaigns, so get that out of your heads right now. We are going to have to do this ourselves. We are not a targeted district. National's not paying any attention to us. State is not paying any attention to us. We have to do this ourselves. I need all of the precinct chairs with us. I need all of the precinct chairs to get your people rallied and get going. We need people to sign up to volunteer. We need people to sign up to canvass. We need people to talk to their neighbors. We have to get out. We have to win this race. I mean, unless y'all want Pat Harrigan to stay in office.
No! That's right.
Okay, that's what I thought. Second on my list is accountability. And I've kind of gotten into that a little bit already, but just to start this off, to be clear, I will never quit because this campaign runs on spite and hope zero, and as long as I have both of those things, then I'm good. But just so you know, we have state legislature candidates in this district who are getting ready to quit because they're not getting support. And that is unacceptable.
Yeah.
We have to stand up for all the candidates in our districts.
That's right.
I could tell you the story about how Lynn got in Roy Cooper's face a few weeks ago and told him he needed to start supporting the down ballot, but I'm sure you're going to hear about it at some point anyway. It was pretty funny. Roy looked genuinely terrified. Lynn can be pretty freaking scary if you haven't met her. But here's the deal. We are all working our butts off, not just me, but all the other candidates. We schedule events, nobody shows up. We schedule canvasses, nobody shows up. The state party has a coordinated campaign and tried to schedule canvasses. We had like 3 or 4 people show up. What are we doing? I mean, y'all say that you want to win, but then nobody shows up. We are doing everything we can as candidates. We need to see that back from our districts.
That's right.
So, something happened in Virginia yesterday that really kind of broke me a little bit and gave me some clarity. The Virginia Supreme Court told the voters in Virginia that their voice doesn't matter.
Shame.
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 And so we're getting to the action part. The only way that we fix this is to make this too big to rig.
That's right.
Get out the vote, register people to vote, make sure people actually show up. Show up to events, show up to vote, make sure people know where they're supposed to vote, because they change that too and they don't tell the voters. They are working on making sure that our vote is suppressed. Don't let them. We have to make sure that we get everybody out to vote, every single registered Democrat and every left-leaning unaffiliated voter.
That's right.
Unaffiliated voters have not had a voice in this district or really anywhere for quite some time. We are lucky because we have a large proportion of them in this state. And that's what this race is going to hinge on. That's what a lot of races around the state are going to hinge on. So let's make sure we get them out to vote. Candidates need to stop hearing no and start hearing yes. We kind of covered that already. We need your help. We have some people that want to focus on, waving signs and singing Kumbaya and being nice and all of this. Y'all can focus on that on November 4th. Right now, every single thing that we need to do for the next 6 months is focus on getting candidates elected. Because we cannot play the long game if we lose the short one.
That's right.
There will not be a long game if we lose the short one. This is it. This is our time. This is our opportunity. The conditions have never been more favorable. We have to take this opportunity and win these races. So, we've been told over and over again that we're going to lose, that this is a red district, that we might as well just roll over and wait till 2030. Bullshit.
Right.
People get mad when I cuss. Guess what? Cussing is a sign of intelligence, y'all. And if that's what you're mad about, then you're not mad enough about everything that's going on in the country.
Right.
Because I get madder every freaking day. So, let's go. Sign up to volunteer, donate, stand up and support your candidates, and get ready to raise hell with Ashley Bell.
Right.
Convention to indulge me for a minute. I'd like to entertain a motion to recess for 5 minutes for the purpose of allowing us to discuss the weighted voting issue. I need to talk to a few people.
Motion to recess.
I need a second, and it's non-debatable.
Jeff Marshall, second.
Jeff Marshall was the second. Clay Pittman was the maker of the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. 5 minutes. I need Donna Lucky and
Hello, Senator. Good to see you. I'm doing well. Thank you for your speech, man. That was great.
But I haven't heard anything. Actually, I was born in Statesville. My mom's family is from here, and her brother, my uncle, he never lived in my grandmother, there was no reason to screw out. She started the first in Statesville. Yeah, and she got like long time. But like our whole life was just about, very aware and like always spending time with my uncle, like, yeah, and being around. And like that's the thing I'm like realizing, like, also these are some of the most amazing people to be around. Like that's the whole thing. People think it's scary or the unknown, and it's like you're missing out on some of the best people. Like honestly, because they're not held back by all these social things that keep us from just being joyful.
Yeah, she texted me back at the meeting. I can't drive. It's like postcard writing. Yeah, like with everything else going on, I'm like, I don't do all. She's like, I was so young. First, and then get to the elections, and it would be easier, we have figured out how to do the wage voting, and it would be easier if you sit with your delegations so that we can okay, please sit with your delegation. So, we are ready. I believe Kimberly Turk has some introductory words. Yes. For our keynote speaker, Wesley Harris.
It is my pleasure to be Michael again. He sent me some wonderful notes on Wesley Harris, who I've also had the pleasure of meeting several times and like an awful lot. He is from rural Western North Carolina. He is the son of a teacher and a banker. He went to UNC and Clemson, where he finished a doctorate in economics. He worked at a large firm in Boston and then came back to Charlotte, North Carolina. Shortly thereafter, he moved within Charlotte into a district with an opportunity to flip a state house seat that had been held by Republicans, and he did it in 2018. He went on to hold that seat for 2 consecutive terms. In 2024, while serving in the House, he ran for NC Treasurer, crisscrossing the state to hundreds of events that have certainly made him a North Carolina barbecue connoisseur by now. Wesley brings a unique perspective to the Democratic Party. He understands North Carolina on a level that few can. Mountains to the coast, rural to urban, doorsteps, phone calls, and countless mail. From activist to candidate to legislator, and now is the county chair for the second largest in the state and the one with the most registered Democrats. North Carolina is lucky to have Wesley, and we're lucky to have him with us here today. Thank you.
All right, good morning. Yeah, good morning, 10th District Democrats. How are y'all doing this morning? It is so great to be here. Thank you so much for that kind welcome, and Michael, wherever you are, for writing the words. But so my name is Wesley Harris. So I'm currently the chair of the Mecklenburg County Democratic Party, which I'm glad to report it is the largest county Democratic Party in North Carolina, and I'm so excited to be here. This is actually my hometown. I was born in, actually, most of my life was in the 10th District. I was born in Catawba County, but my parents were living in Taylorsville at the time. moved here to Statesville right before I started 3rd grade, and so this is actually my high school. This is actually the first time I've been in the auditorium since I graduated 21 years ago, which was quite a while. But it's so great to see you all out here today again. When I grew up, I didn't even know there was a Democratic Party in Iredell County. I thought I was one of, my family were Democrats, but I thought I was we were a single blue dot in a sea of red. And so it's so incredible to see. Since I've started getting involved in politics and running back in 2018, I've seen the amazing work of everyone in this room, of everything you've done, particularly Beth Kendall up here in Iredell County doing everything. And I was so honored and privileged to be the Democratic nominee for state treasurer in 2024. Not only to get to run, thank you. Not only to get to run on kind of like my ideals, which is the first time you really kind of get to do that, but being able to see every single corner of this state. I'm a North Carolina native. I love everything about this state. I think we have so much potential in this state, and we've done so many great things in the state. But getting to see so many people, and it's funny, representing Mecklenburg now as a county chair. I want to pick up our entire county delegation and take them to every one of these counties to show them how good they have it, because y'all work so hard, so endlessly for every single kind of crumb you have to pick up, and it's not sexy work, it's not gratifying work, but y'all do the work, and so I'm so thankful for that, because in Mecklenburg every seat is Democratic, and so you have the egos going into everybody of not only they know we're going to win, so it's like who's going to get credit for what we win, and so it's y'all that do most of the big work, and that was when I was running statewide, my favorite times were going into the rural areas and talking to folks, because while there are very few elected Democrats, I think one of the cruelties of political geography is that some of the best Democrats in this state live in some of the worst parts of this state for Democrats. And the reason that is because y'all see day in and day out what happens under Republican rule. What happens when you see a government that does not invest in its people? What happens when you see a government that does not believe in its people and believe in its community? And that's really shaped my entire life. Like I said, grew up in Alexander County and Iredell County, and I was blessed in a lot of ways. That I had a great family that cared about me. Like I said, my mom was a public school teacher, my dad was a local banker, and I was blessed that I had a great family that cared about me and believed in me. But most importantly is that I had a government that believed in me when I grew up in North Carolina, and I had a government that invested in me, that allowed me to go to an incredible public school, that allowed me to go to an incredible public university, graduate debt-free, which, not to age myself, but I graduated from Chapel Hill in 2009. Which you remember 2009, my entire senior year in college was watching the global economy collapse around us, which is a great time to be on the job market. And so, thank God I graduated debt-free. And because if I didn't graduate debt-free, I would have to go somewhere, just find any job that I could. But because I graduated debt-free, I had so many options of anything I wanted to do. I ended up going down to Clemson and getting my PhD in economics. So I could understand the mess that we were in. And I actually wrote my dissertation on political geography, focusing mainly on North Carolina. And then left North Carolina for a little while, came back in 2016 when I was able to transfer down to Charlotte, which was always that kind of city on a hill for me growing up in this part of the state. And when I came back to North Carolina, left North Carolina in 2009, came back in 2016, it wasn't the North Carolina that I left. Again, when I left North Carolina, we had just elected Barack Obama president. We had just turned blue for the first time since Jimmy Carter. We thought everything was on the ascent and we were moving in the right direction, finally. And then when I come back in 2016, HB 2 has been passed. We had supermajorities in both chambers of the legislature. We had a Republican governor for the first time in 30 or so years. And I looked around, I was like, this is not the North Carolina I grew up in. And what made me even so more angry was seeing that those same Republicans who were cutting the very investments that made my life possible, celebrating the economic work that we were currently in as if they were responsible for it. As if before 2010, North Carolina was a smoldering pile of ruins, and the clouds parted and Tom Tillis showed up with tax cuts in one hand and social wars on the other hand, and we resurrected North Carolina. When the real fact of the matter is North Carolina is what North Carolina is today because we had 50 years of Democratic rule, Democratic governors, Democratic legislatures who invested in our people, who invested in our communities, who gave everybody the opportunity to succeed. That's what transformed our state. They used to call us the Rip Van Winkle state. We were the state that fell asleep and we couldn't wake up again. And we didn't switch that back because of tax cuts. We switched it back because we invested in our communities, because we invested in our people. And that's what we have to come back to. When I was running statewide, there were so many times I called folks, particularly the western part of the state, which, as we know, is the most conservative part of the state. And I look at their bios, or their biographies and stuff, and like see, their age, their education, and everything. It'd be like 85-year-old white man, college, high school education. Everything about their life would suggest that they're a hardcore MAGA Republican. And I'd call them and be like, oh, hey, I'm Wesley Harris running for state treasurer. And I was like, good, dude. And they said, are you a Democrat? And I was a little worried. I was like, I am. And they said, good, I only vote for Democrats. And I was like, that's fantastic. I'm like, yeah. It's like, you know why I only vote for Democrats? I vote for Democrats because my dad voted for Democrats. And because his dad voted for Democrats. And because his dad voted for Democrats. And his dad voted for Democrats because FDR turned on the lights. And it's really that simple. It's really that simple. We just have to be able to deliver on our promises and make people's lives so much better. And it's no coincidence. It is no coincidence that the civil rights movement and the environmental movement really grabbed hold in the 1960s and the 1970s that allowed us to push forward a true social agenda to finally become the democracy we all thought we were capable of, because that was also the time in our country when we had the largest middle class in history. Because there was not that economic anxiety that makes people feel like the economy and that the world is a zero-sum game. That if I help somebody else, that means that I'm going to be hurt by that. If I give somebody else opportunity, that means I'm going to lose opportunity. That's what economic scarcity and that's what economic anxiety causes. But because we rebuilt our country, because we rebuilt our economy after World War II, it freed that up so people realize that giving access to other people, giving freedom to other people, giving opportunities to other people does not hinder my opportunity. It enhances my opportunity. And that, I think, is the key thing that we have been missing since 2010. We are still living under the scars of the financial crisis, where that economic squeeze has had people felt like their opportunities are going away, their economic opportunities are going away, their future, their kids' future is going away, and that's what pushes people into that selfish nutshell. You cannot care about the greater good unless your own good is taken care of first. To put that another way, you can't save somebody else from drowning if you're drowning yourself. And that's the situation that we're into now. It's so hard to push forward a progressive social agenda under the best of times. It's damn near impossible when the economy is going poorly. And that is the first thing we have to fix. And the good thing is, this is what Democrats have always done. Again, we always take power when things are in the shitter, and we get it back going. We don't talk about it enough. And then the other side takes it because we haven't done things fast enough. That was the biggest thing that I think we've missed that has caused this rise in Trumpism. There was a shift in where our economy was going after the Great Recession. And we didn't talk about that enough, and so we didn't understand the anxiety that people were feeling. We didn't understand the frustration that people were feeling. I think Western North Carolina is a perfect example of this. Like I said, my dad was a local banker, and he was with First Union of Pivot, then went back to a small bank called the Bank of Granite, headquartered in Granite Falls. And through 2009 and 2010, he was the chief credit officer. And 80% of his time was in bankruptcy proceedings for furniture companies that they had survived through NAFTA, they'd survived through everything, but the Great Recession was that death knell. And as our economy has changed, we have huge parts of our state that are just booming. Charlotte is booming, the Triangle is booming, the Triad is booming, but there are so many parts of our state that have been left behind. They've been left behind by our economy, they've been left behind by our leaders, and they've been left behind by our government. And it is in that anxiety, it's in that frustration where the hatred grows, where the racism grows, where the xenophobia grows, because they're just frustrated. And they are looking for anybody to blame for their lot in life. And there were governing policies that did that. But Trump came in and started talking about those problems. He did not have the right solution to those problems, But a wrong solution to the right problem will be a decent solution to ignoring the problem every single day of the week. And that's so much of what we have to focus on right now, because again, we have such an incredible opportunity this year. I am so very excited. Every single data point that has happened since Trump has retaken power has suggested a 2018 style plus wave. And again, I was first elected in 2018 down in the Ballantyne area of Charlotte, which is a very southern portion. It was never represented by a Democrat before. I was elected at the same time. Rachel Hunt, my good friend, was elected in the district next to me, Brandon Lofton, and a few other, Natasha Marcus, she ran for insurance commissioner. We were all elected at the same time in Charlotte. Of these areas, Charlotte was actually a fairly Republican place until about 2008. And we won because we went out. There were so many, I call it Mitt Romney Central, because my district was about 7 square miles and there were 8 country clubs in it. And you know, I knock on doors and people will be like, hey, great, I'm voting for you, but you're wasting your time in this neighborhood. There are no Democrats in this neighborhood. And I'd show them my walk sheet and be like, actually, almost half your neighbors feel the exact same way that you do. They just don't know you're here. They think that they are that blue dot in a sea of red. And so you saw that. You saw one person put up a yard sign in their yard. And then the next week, another yard sign would pop up. And the next week, another yard sign would pop up. And before long, they realized that not only were they not in the minority, they were pretty damn close to the majority. And we showed that when we won. And it did something of not only made Democrats proud, or left-leaning unaffiliated proud to say what they actually believe, but also shut the Republicans up. Because they realized there were a hell of a lot more Democrats and left-leaning unaffiliated than they knew. And that's what's so important in these areas right now. That's what's so important with what we're doing right now. And kind of the biggest thing that I want to leave y'all with is, again, the potential that we have. And the most important things we need to focus on. I want to thank Senator Lowe for coming out there. My girl Kanika back there finally showed up. I served with her in the State House. But the most important body in this entire state is the North Carolina legislature. We have the weakest statutory governor in the entire country. We have the weakest, that's why we elect 9 and 10 executive branch people every year. And we have, conversely, we have the strongest legislature in the entire country. They control everything. And a lot of the problems we're seeing today aren't because of what our local communities are doing, aren't because of what our city councils are doing, or because of what our county commissioners are doing. It's because they are being necktied by what's going on in Raleigh. But when people look around, you ask an average person on the street, name one politician in North Carolina you know, it's probably going to be Josh Stein. And it's like, well, we got a Democratic governor, but things are still pretty bad. It must be the Democrats' fault. And if you look back at what happened in 2024, again, I unfortunately was not able to win, but the people who won, we won 6 seats statewide in 2024, which was incredible. And it was a really bright spot in a very dark night across the country. But to win those seats, 2 things had to happen. Number 1, they had to outspend their opponents by a minimum of 5 to 1. And number 2 is they had to run against the worst human beings who've ever saw public office. Both of those things had to be true. And so what that tells me is that our brain isn't great. Because all of our statewide candidates are raising so much money, they're spending so much money, and they're going out there and they're not running as generic Democrats. They're running as, I'm a different kind of Democrat. I'm a Democrat you can trust. I'm a Democrat you can get on board with. Instead of building up our Democratic brain, which again, that's what they have to do to win. And that's why it's so incumbent upon us as the party to build up that base. And that's why I'm working like hell in Mecklenburg County, because if we get our turnout up to what it was in 2018, just a little bit higher, coupled with the unaffiliated breaking our way, there's 70,000 extra votes just in Mecklenburg alone, compared to what Sherry Lisa got in 2022. To get that in perspective, 60% of the gap that she lost by in 2022 could be taken up by just one county. And so as we get our people out to vote by focusing on, again, democratic ideals, investing in our community, investing in our people, providing that level of opportunity, it frees up so many resources. Because it is simply not sustainable for 99% of our political donations to go to the offices that have the least amount of power in terms of determining what day-to-day lives feel like for every single person. We have to focus on these legislative races. And what's going to be most important about that is what North Carolina is different compared to every other state in the country. You look at every other swing state in the country. Every other state in the country, North Carolina has more rural voters than any state other than Texas. You look at Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Virginia, 40% of Michigan's entire population is Detroit, the Detroit metro area. 60% of Georgia's population is the Atlanta metro area. 66% of Pennsylvania's population is Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. 70% of Virginia's population is Northern Virginia, Richmond, and Norfolk, the big urban areas. You look at North Carolina, you add up every single one of our urban counties, every single one of our 8 largest urban counties: Buncombe County, Mecklenburg County, Forsyth County, Guilford County, Orange County, Durham County, Wake County, Cumberland County. All 8 of them. It's only 41% of our state. And so we cannot do what all those other swing states do, where they basically juice up the vote in their urban areas and they can win everything. We have to juice up our vote in the urban areas because that will free up the resources for our statewide candidates so they don't have to outspend their opponents 5-1. But then we have to focus it laser-like on these state legislative races, because those are the only races that we can build a true geographic coalition in North Carolina. Because it is mathematically impossible for any statewide Democrat to lose if we have the majority in the state house or the state senate. Mathematically impossible. And those are the folks who can hyper-localize their message. Like I said, my district in Charlotte was about 8 square miles. Kanika's district in Winston-Salem, just a couple square miles. Paul Lowe's district in the Senate in Forsyth County it's such a small fraction. You can localize that message and show people what Democrats are doing on a day-to-day basis. And again, what we do in other states cannot work in North Carolina. But if we are able to build that true geographic coalition here in North Carolina, that's the strategy that we can take to Iowa. That's the strategy that we can take to Missouri. That's the strategy we can take to Ohio, and maybe even Florida, and finally get back a governing majority. That's our whole problem. We win these races by bare minimum, and we have people elected, but we don't have a governing majority. We have to be able to govern. That is the only thing that matters, because we are the only party that actually gives a damn about what people are going through. Because the other party wins by keeping you poor, angry, and divided. We have to win by keeping you wealthy, happy, and united. But to do that, we got to deliver on it. And so we have such potential there. And again, it's so dark now, and I wish it didn't take the world being on fire for us to have these tailwinds, but I'll take tailwinds any way we got these tailwinds. But we have to learn from our mistakes that we made in 2018. 2018 was an incredible year. We picked up 10 seats in the state legislature, 10 seats in the state house. We picked up 6 seats in the state senate, swept every statewide judicial race. Last time we've done that. And we thought that was going to continue in 2020. But it didn't. We actually slid back in 2020. We lost 5 seats in the House in 2020, even though we had better maps. And we lost 5 more seats in the State House in 2022, even though we had better maps. Because 2018 was a check election, which is exactly what this election is going to be. Republicans have full control of everything, and that is a hell of an easy election to win, because no one likes one party to control everything. And so, but 2020 was a different election. That was a give us the keys to the kingdom election. And so it's easy to run on a check election this year, but then you have to switch that narrative altogether. Just that, okay, well now we want control. And so we have to start laying those seeds of what we're going to do when we have power right now, of what we want to see our government look like. Again, I want things to be cheaper. I want opportunities to go up. I want our wars to end. But we got to look beyond that about what our country is going to look like when you have democratic control, when you have Democrats who are willing to invest in our communities, who are willing to invest in our people, because that's how we start to build that momentum. We have to put 3 good elections together in a row. The North Carolina House is the only chamber in the entire South that has the ability to flip by 2030. But in order to do that, we have to flip at least 6 to 7 to 8 seats this year. And we have to really make sure that we can spread our map as much as possible, because we have a once-in-a-generation electoral environment. And as bad as things are, again, you may think this may not happen before, but it does happen before. 81 years ago was 1945, which was the end of World War II. Literally 81 years before that was 1865, which was the end of the Civil War. And about 89 years before that was 1776, which we're about to settle our 250th anniversary for. These things aren't new. Every couple generations, we have to fight for our freedoms once again. And the other side does not stop. I think Roe v. Wade was the perfect example of that. 1973, Roe v. Wade passed, and they fought endlessly for 50 years of organizing to finally break that down. And we've been blessed with a long summer, as I like to say, because we took our democracy for granted. We took our opportunities for granted. We took our government for granted while the other side was working nonstop. And so we have to work nonstop, because this is our generation's opportunity to stand up and say, this is the government we believe in, this is the country we believe in, and I'm not going to allow these lunatics to co-opt freedom, to co-opt patriotism, and to co-opt what they think America can, because we know what America can do. We know what America has been, and we know what we are capable of. And so this coming election, these next 6 months are going to be so absolutely critical, but it's just the beginning. Again, I know when David did his intro, he talked about that every election is the most important election of your lifetime. And again, we're in rural North Carolina. Every election is like the harvest. You skip one harvest, you ain't making it through the winter. That's what an election is. Anything that can change for the better in one election can change for the worse in the next election. We have to fight every single day. We got to put 3 solid elections together in a row, and we will transform what democracy looks like, not only in North Carolina, but nationwide. And what we can do here in North Carolina, like I said, that is the template for the rest of the country. We get to determine what the future of the country and the Democratic Party looks like over these next 6 months, over these next 3 years. There are people in every single state who would kill for the opportunity that North Carolina has now in terms of dictating what the future of our country is going to be. And the only thing I ask about you is that we don't take that for granted. And we understand that blissful burden that we have, and that we do the work. Because again, this is our chance to stand up for our freedom. This is our chance to stand up. This is our generation's rendezvous with destiny. This is our generation's chance to put a new birth of freedom in our country. And if we work together, I know we can do that. So let's work for these next 6 months. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
Take care of a little business. Our treasurer, Nancy Miller, is going to share with us our financial picture. Yes, that's your call.
Okay, I think you can see on the screen, try to keep it real simple. Well, it is real simple. A year ago, coming into the convention, we had $5,135, and after next week, we got one charge coming in next week. After next week, we will have $5,210.53, and I also put in here that we're expecting a contribution from, well, it's really from NCDP, but I'm not sure that's going to happen, but I put it in there. But if that comes in, we'll have $6,210.53 a couple weeks from now. So it's actually a net gain from a year ago of $1,075.53.
Lesson learned: when you get to county or district chair, have a great treasurer. It helps. Representative Brown, did you want to share some remarks? Yes.
Accept the treasurer's report as no, you do not. No, treasurer's reports are reports. Therefore, do not have to be approved by the body according to Robert's rules. They are what they are. If somebody wants to challenge something, they can hear me anyway, Chris doesn't know.
Yeah, under Robert's rules, if you want to check on this, by the way, if anybody, Jim Slaughter has just put out a new news report, newsletter on this from his office, and that's what they work on, is work for parliamentary. He's one of the greatest parliamentarians, from Greensboro, by the way, in the country. But at any rate, we don't have to approve that report by vote. There's no, unless somebody wants to challenge something in that, and then we would have to discuss a motion to change something. Is that okay? Everybody okay? All right. Last time I got a woo.
There's a button on it. There you go. State your name and county, please.
Dustin Jett, Iredell County. I'd like to make a point of personal privilege. I stand today in support of our North Carolina Democratic Staff Union. Since October, they've been bargaining with the North Carolina Democratic Party executive staff still not reached a tentative agreement with the contract. For those of you who may not fully understand what the staff union is, it represents the hardworking regional organizers and campaign staff across our state, including our own regional organizer, Mackenzie Reed. These people do the day-to-day work to organize communities, support candidates, and strengthen our party infrastructure. Since 2018, the coordinated campaign field staff has been forced to reorganize from scratch at every election. In 2022, they didn't even receive a signed contract until after election day.
So, sir, what is your point of personal privilege?
It's that we as the...
I know, but that sounds like a policy issue.
I'm asking for support from my fellow delegates to support the staff union and their attempts to obtain their tentative agreement from the state party.
I don't argue the effort, it's just that it's not in order.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Thank you. Representative Kamika Brown has joined us, and if you have a little time, fantastic.
Good evening. Sound a little dry though. Good evening. Somebody did not wake up this morning. You did, and it's called purpose, and that's to be here right here today. Let's give a round of applause for that. Okay. You all know we're at war, right?
Yeah. That's right.
We are at war. And we will not retreat. Not retreat. Let me hear you say that. We will not retreat. Not retreat. More than ever, we have to depend on each other. Our democracy is online. Women's rights are online. We have to organize. We have to strategize. This is not time for us to get comfortable. We're going in all 10. We don't have a choice. If we don't fight, who's going to fight for us? When people vote, people win. When people organize, movements happen. When people stand strong, change comes together. We will not retreat. We will fight for our communities, our children, our friends, and our future. We're going to talk about the top 10 issues that we see at the General Assembly. Senator Lowe, you're familiar with this because we talk a lot about these issues. The cost of living, that inflation, how's that affecting you all? Yeah, that's the problem. That's why we have to get them in the chairs. That's why we have to vote. Keep reminding people why we're in this predicament. It's not Democrats, it's Republicans. Rising grocery prices, how do y'all see that? Yeah, that's the problem. Housing costs. What about those utility bills? These are all the things we're talking about when we're trying to get people out to vote for the damn party. Healthcare expenses. What about the co-pays that's going up? All Republican, not us. We have to make sure we have a message to our Democrats and independent voters as well. We need to be talking about these issues. Rent increases, lack of affordable housing, property taxes up on the rise. How many of y'all seen that in the news? It's a problem. Homelessness, that's another problem. Gentrification, that's a big problem. How often are we seeing that? More than ever. And I cannot tell you about some of the bills that come through the GA. And they say, in God we trust. I said, who are you trusting? What Bible do you read? The way we vote on these bills, the bills that you all pass, you can't be thinking about God. You cannot be. People are hurting. They're crying. a change, I know we're on the right track with the Democrats. Let's keep going. We will not retreat. We will keep going. Keep the Republicans up at night because we are coming. We see that blue wave coming. They see that blue wave coming. Those high insurance prices, problem. Prescription drug prices supposed to be down, up more than ever. Rural hospitals closing. I had a call a couple of weeks ago, but no, it's been a while. It was when you had a bad storm. Out of the rural county, a lady called me. She said, Brown, if I have this baby at home, who's going to come and get me? We don't have any hospitals out here where I live at. It's a problem. Precisely, somebody out there to get her. She had a baby before that storm hit. That's because Republicans have closed their hospitals. And I had to explain that to her. But she gets it now. She gets it now. This is a problem. Hospitals are closing. Mental health services. Let's talk about that. That's a problem. Like I tell them, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. It's a problem with the mental health services. You know, they want to pass these laws, you want to jail, but you do not want to provide no resources. None. To prevent them from going to jail or prison. Lock them up. Let the taxpayers pay for it. It's a problem. Medicaid. We know how many people are getting kicked off Medicaid, don't we? Kicked off because of the Republicans. It's not us. I have to keep reminding people that. And what about that public education and teachers' pay? Let's give a round of applause for our teachers that showed up in Raleigh. That part. School funding, classroom resources. I mean, we need it all. First, we need a budget. Can we get a budget? You bring us to Raleigh, we're there for one bill and we're gone. Coming in the next day, two or three bills and we're gone. Not one mention of a budget. That's a problem. That is a problem. And we have to continue to make sure we mention that to the people and to the voters. It's not the Dems. We want to help you. We have been here to help you. Jobs and wages, another problem. And what about that minimum wage? It's $7.25. Who can survive off of that?
Nobody.
You cannot survive off of that. I mean, you talk about that, no, don't want to hear about that. That's a problem. It's a problem. Skill training, economic inequality, all this, public safety and crime, opioid addiction, youth violence. You know, we have had multiple conversations about the youth violence, what we need to have, this and that. They don't want to hear about that. They want to lock them up. No resources, no programs for them. It's a problem. It's a problem. Women's rights, women, it's a problem. We have to get out here more than ever and vote. They trying to silence us. The Republican Party wants us silenced. And that cannot happen, and we will not retreat. We are not going back to the 40s and 50s. We will not. Voter access. I can go on and on. You know, I don't know where we're going in this country, but it will change once we control again, once we rule again, the Democrats. But that is who we are. Let's talk about ICE. ICE is another problem. Showing up in our neighborhoods, showing up at our schools, showing up at churches. It is a problem. You see the commercials, you see the videos, and the GA, they could care less. Just want them out there. That's the problem. That's why we must show up at the polls. We must show up at the polls. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's called life. I tell people that all the time. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Life is about choices. And you see what happens when people make the wrong choices. We all have to deal with it. And that's why we have to go stronger than ever. Tax policy, government transparency, funding priorities, and I'm going to stop at the elected officials. We're on the front lines as elected officials. Our job is to serve. We work for you. Your tax dollar pays every elected official salary. We need to hear from you. Email us. You see us out, talk to us. That's why we're here. And you find out somebody not doing their job, get them out of the office. Get them out. They're not serving. That's a problem. You can't get them on the phone. You can't talk to them. They can't respond to your emails. Say, I'm gonna go. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Get them out of there. We want people that's going to serve, that's going to lead, that's going to do right by the people. We the people. Yeah. We decide who's in that chair. Love you all. God bless. Rep Brown.
We do have the speakers, don't we? Very enthusiastic. We are going to move to the action now. And Cliff, did you want to walk us through how we're going to do the weighted voting? Okay.
Let's see how many moves that we passed a set of temporary rules of the day earlier, and our chair mentioned to us the notion, which is in the plan of organization, that nothing herein shall prevent district conventions from adopting temporary rules, making nominations, holding elections, and conducting business by voice vote, by acclamation, or where vote by counties is not demanded by 25% of the delegates. However, the norm for a district convention, when there is and we believe there will be, when there is a contested election, is to vote by weighted vote, which is a representative vote of the strength based on the one vote per 300 votes for the governor in the previous election, that our counties have. During the recess, we spoke with each of the county chairs or their representatives up here and agreed that it would be the best thing, with your concurrence, that we actually do the weighted vote. And it's kind of exciting for me because it's been a long time. I know a bunch of you are having trouble with getting any digital feeds and things on your phones or other things, and so we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, and that is really the old-fashioned way. In the past, the way this is going to be done, if there's no objection from you all, is that we're going to, if there is an election that we are coming up that it has two or more folks running for the office, that we will then have each county vote. You either have your, in the case of Catawba, the first vice chair is here and she will be the chair. I recommend strongly, though there is a rule that says you could elect your chair, but that's going to take more time, but that you let your county chair be your vote collector. And so we're going, if they have not been distributed yet, we're going to distribute ballots to you. And on those ballots, I'm not sure what they say because I've not seen them, but make sure you have your name, your county's name, that's really your county's name, and that. And the other thing, are there any folks in here, well, if you're, let me put it this way, because I know you're a Democrat and you're going to be honest. If you're not a delegate, please do not take a ballot. You're not qualified to vote unless you are here as a delegate. Do I have any questions? I think I've covered, I didn't read everything in the plan of organization about that. And but we're going to do it that way again without further objection. Is there any questions or objections or anything somebody wants to say? Bradley, is that your hand up first? Okay, we'll come to the microphone up here. Please. Identify yourself. This is a Cliff Moon sort of thing here that we all supposed to do. Identify yourself and your county. We all know who you are, Bradley, but that's a good one.
Can you hear me?
I don't know. There's a button, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Nope. Dustin got it. Okay.
Well, my question is just a math question. If the numbers don't go in evenly, so for example,
Oh.
19.
The great question. The NCDP's provided, first of all, the delegate counts, okay, for everybody. We could go through this. The second thing is, at least I know Beth over there has. I'm not sure about the rest of us, but we have the, what's it called, Beth? The number of delegates and how then you can divide it into it. So each delegate, it's one vote for 300. You've got 78, you've got 19, as I understand from our conversation earlier. So let's say all those 19 votes vote the same, then there's no issue. But if they divide on the candidates, then that's taken care of in the counting of the difference, okay? And it's typical math, though, it's the way I understand it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was an English and history person, so okay. But it's typical, like 0.5 and higher percentage, and you get a vote. Okay? Does that make sense? Did I answer your question?
I believe so.
Okay, if you believe so, then I'll believe so too. Okay. Any other I think this nice lady down here, I know I met her at our county convention, and I can't call. Do you have a question? Christine. Can you come? They can't hear you unless you come to the microphone. Well, that's okay.
Okay, I don't feel like.
Oh, we can hear you.
So, all I was going to say is, does everyone know where their county is? Because I know I almost missed the sign that said Catawba County, and it would be easy for folks to just kind of sit wherever they
Okay, we have the chair previously asked you after the recess to sit with your delegations. So I'm going to say right now, thank you, ma'am, thank you, Christine. If you are not sitting with your delegation, please move. There are plenty of seats in here. Please move to sit with your delegation. If you are not with your delegation at the moment, so that your chair can get an accurate counting when the ballots are passed. Now, who has the ballot? Any other questions before I hope we pass out ballots and get moving here? My stomach says we need to move along. So. We're okay. Thank you, Aubrey. We'll find that out. Yes. Now it's back to you unless there's another question about the rules or any objections at all to where we're going. Good Democrats.
All right, I know the ballots are being prepared, so let us start with the process with the Committee on Credentials and Appeals. As I recall, this committee meets in relationship to the state convention, which is in June, I believe, and it establishes if there are challenges to a candidate, a delegate's credentials, this is where it's resolved. I don't really know how often it comes into being, but it exists in the plan. So for the position of Committee on Credentials and Appeals, the Chair will entertain a nomination or nominations. Now we went through this whole thing about weighted voting and if you stand up back there, you're in danger of getting nominated. Okay, do we have a nominee for this position?
I nominate Donna Lincoln County.
Very good, Donna Watkins, Lincoln County. Are there any other nominations? Pardon?
Does Donna accept that nomination?
She got her hand up, I think she's on board.
Yes.
I move to close the nomination.
I'll second.
Who's the
Sadisky will move to close nominations.
who's the second?
Matt Sadisky moved the motion, and Kimberly Turk.
All those in favor of closing the
the nominations, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. All the, pardon?
Move to accept Donna Lucky as the flag nominations.
Cliff Moon is moved to adopt, accept, or elect Donna Lucky as the member from the 10th on the Credentials and Appeals. Without objection?
Needed a second.
Oh, well, who's the second?
Alan Edwards, Iredell County, second.
Thank you. Without objection? We have filled that position with Donna Lucky. Okay, now we're going to next on the list is Council of Review. The floor is open for nominations.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Parker.
Does this work?
No.
He did.
It's the bottom button.
There you go.
Yes.
I'm David Parker from Iredell County. I nominate Clay Pittman, who is my law partner, who has served on the Council of Review, and most importantly, is the father of my grandson. So you know what that means. And he's done a good job on Council of Review, I nominate him.
Thank you. Correct me if I'm wrong, we don't need seconds.
No, you do not need to.
Are there any other nominations for the position on Council of Review? I think I have to ask 3 times. Time 2. Are there any nominations coming from the floor for Council of Review? Third opportunity. I see none.
Move to close nomination, say nay. I'll remain beside county.
You name the person, county. Who said that? I couldn't hear. Who said that?
Could you repeat? We just didn't get that for the record.
I'll remain beside county. I move to close nomination, say nay. Second.
Matt Sadinsky, Catawba County.
Seconding the.
All those in favor of closing the nomination say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. All those in favor of Clay Pittman as our representative of Council Review, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Great. We've made tremendous progress. Now we come to resolutions in platform committee. Who is the incumbent on that? Okay. I should have asked that before. Do we have any nominations for the resolutions in platform committee?
Stand up.
I nominate Matt Sadinsky from Catawba County.
And you are?
Fran Van Dover.
Fran Van Dover. Okay.
Jordan Gooch, Forsyth County, and I nominate Ben Spencer.
I accept.
Do you have that? Can we have your name again, sir?
Yes, Jordan Gooch, G-O-O-G.
Sorry, I'm having had some minutes disappear on us in the past. I'm trying to make sure that we give Rachel enough time to. Everybody, you good? Very good. Are there any other nominations? Okay, so. Yes, but in the interim. Shannon, could you check on where we are with the ballots, please? Are there any other nominations for the position on resolutions and platform committee? I hear none, I see none. I'm asking one more time. Are there any other nominees? If not, we will close the nomination process. Okay, now we are in need of the ballots, and
Are we going to do
Speeches?
Mr. Chair?
What'd you say?
Are we going to do speeches, Mr. Chair?
well,
think there's a total, I think it's in the rules, I think there's like a total of 5 minutes or something. Three. So, yeah, I'm all about it. And I still have to ballot, so who would like to go first? That sounds good to me. You got 3 minutes? Or you can come up here, whatever.
Hello, Democrats. My name is Matthew Sidinsky, and I chose to live in North Carolina with my family in 1995. And I lived in Cary, North Carolina for 5 years and served on the Planning and Zoning Board there. I never really got active in the Democratic Party till after I moved to California, and then dot-comed out there and dot-bomb back here in 2000. And when Orange Man got elected, I reached out to my district and precinct captain. And then slowly over time, I offered my small office. I helped train the men and women come out of the Navy to work in the power grid. That I had a little office with a closet. They needed yard signs and they needed a place to elect Democrats. I wanted to get involved. I ran for and then won on the state executive committee in 2018 and 2020 for Mecklenburg County. And then became a Biden delegate, went through the arena training to how to organize democratic elections. In 2022, I moved up here and live in Sherrill Ford with a partner. She's an author, and we got very active in the county, and I've served on this committee, the Platform and Resolutions Committee, for the last 2 terms. Until we get Democrats elected, the platform, the resolutions that our legislator passed and that we bring to the party are really meaningless. But the point about this is over the last year, we've spent probably 12 days in meetings reviewing over 200 resolutions and focusing on the important issues of education, healthcare, voter rights, women's health. So I'd like to continue to serve in this role. I really believe, as Wes Harris has said, and I walked over to doors with Wes Harris when he was running down in Mecklenburg, that we begin to turn each seat in the House and Assembly blue so that we can take more control over this legislature. It's been my pleasure to serve, and I hope that you will elect me again. My parents are both immigrants. I was lucky to go to Cornell School of Industrial Labor Relations, and where I see this fascist Republican administration pushing us is very dangerous. And we have to unite as a party, and one way to do that is to have resolutions that unite us as a group. So with that, I'd ask for your vote. My name is Matt Sidinsky. My 25-year-old just turned it into a record label, Sad in Sky. Please check out sadinsky.club. We're about 1 million likes from getting a cup of coffee. Thank you very much.
Hi, all. I'm Ben Spencer, as you all know. I'm honored to stand before you today. And I'd like to thank Jordan Gooch for the nomination. I'm truly honored. You know, when I started this back in 2017, I know I'm only 31, but I've been actually doing it that long. I never thought I would actually be here today, and I'm just truly honored to be able to stand before you. I've been on this committee since 2022 in various roles, and as well as on the SEC, serving for Forsyth County in various since 2021 on the SEC. You know, I've had to Matt is right, we've had to have a lot of time put into this on this committee. I put more hours than I can really think, and I've actually had to sacrifice my paycheck. I've had to take many paydays off just to do this important work, which I will gladly do again. I think it's very necessary, and it's not a penalty, it's a blessing to be able to do that. When I first came onto this committee, I recognized there was an issue. As you all may know, I'm actually openly on the spectrum, so worker rights are actually, disability rights are actually very important to me. One thing I noticed in the party platform was we had nothing about ending the horrendous minimum wage. Do you all know what that is? Yeah, it allows people who have disabilities to be paid less than an actual minimum wage, oftentimes treated oftentimes as little as less than $3.50 an hour. Treating work, some work is less than equal. And I saw that, and I had the privilege of getting that included in the platform, that we're not going to stand for this. We're going to stand up for the people who have disabilities, and we're actually going to ensure they're treated like equals and not treated like damn subhuman people.
Right. Right.
One of the other lessons I've had is to help to craft one of the most pro-worker platforms in the entire country. We're still operating under the 2022 platform, but if you look at that platform, you're going to find very few that stand up for workers as much as we do. And let's be proud about it, because it shows we're the state of progress in the South. One of the other things I was honored to have to be able to do, I may not be the best auditor, but I stand up for the right things. One of the other things I was able to help do is finally put in their Medicare for all. I think we all worry about how we're going to pay for that doctor's bill. What, heaven forbid, we get the words, we have cancer. That is always going to be one of the most terrifying words you can hear. The last thing you want to do is, how am I going to pay for this medical bill? The only thing you should be focusing on is, how am I going to get the treatment to fight this damn disease? I've had the pleasure of doing this, and among other things, so I ask for your support. Benjamin Spencer. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the ballots are not quite ready, so I'm going to do something a little unorthodox. For the last position of the standing committees, the Plan of Organization Review Committee, is there going to be more than one candidate?
Yes, you're on.
I nominate Chris Stevens.
Well, I wasn't opening.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't opening the nomination yet. I just want to know if it was going to be contested.
You gotta open the nomination.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to get the sentiment.
It's sentiment.
I don't think there's anything that keep you, that doesn't confuse things.
Well,
No, opening nominations for another position.
all right, let me ask the permission of the convention. Can I get to the next one? I'm still waiting for the balance. Everybody will be cool and be okay. All right, given that, and again, it's a little unorthodox, let's jump to Plan of Organization Review Committee and open the floor to nominations. Please stand, need your name and county.
Lucette Lecklider for Forsyth County. I nominate Chris Stevens.
Okay, Chris Stevens. You're from Forsyth, right? Are there any other nominations? Okay. Times two. Are there any other nominations for the Plan of Organization Review Committee? Which, by the way, I will tell you, is rewriting the entire Plan of Organization from top to bottom. I'm selling it.
Shorter.
But revised, anyhow.
Make a motion to close nominations and vote by acclamation.
Second, Ben Spencer Forsyth.
Jenny Marshall, Forsyth.
Thank you. Is it the sentiment that we should move to acclamation on this nomination? Please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Ayes carried. Congratulations. There is a lot going on in that committee. Okay, I still don't have my ballots. All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Sir, need you to come to the mic. Name and county, please. There's a button on the bottom.
Steve Ives, Catawba County. It wasn't clear to me as the speaker spoke, who is the incumbent in the Resolutions and Platform Committee? They both spoke as incumbents, it seems to me.
Matt Sinisky represents the 10th.
Well, but Ben said he was incumbent also. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Thank you.
Do you have another thing? All right. Hold it in abeyance. And let me do this. There was a gentleman who spoke, and I did ask that he was out of order. But I need this little time here, so please put yourself at the microphone. Start from the start. Without objection. Thank you. Go, name, county, go right.
So it's okay for me to speak now? Just want to make it clear. Dustin Jett, Iredell County. I'm trying to find where I was, because I don't want to go out. So what I was speaking on before was I want to make a motion to ask for the delegates, my fellow delegates, to support the NCDP staff who are currently trying to negotiate their contract with the state executive party, currently for the executive operations. So I apologize for that. So I'll kind of touch back on where I was at real quick. So since 2018, the coordinated campaign and field staff has been forced to reorganize from scratch every election cycle.
I second, but you talk.
We'll let him talk. We're gonna follow the rules.
Am I good now? We're still waiting on ballots, right? So, all right. Anyways, I like to dance too. So in 2022, they didn't even receive a signed contract until after the election was over. So they worked the entire election series without a contract. To me, that's unacceptable for workers who dedicate themselves by electing Democrats across North Carolina. And now the NCDP and its attorneys are attempting to classify the Campaign Workers Guild, the union for the HQ staff and field staff, as a separate third party. Many view this as a retaliatory action against union staff during the negotiations. So as the HQ unit has made a priority to combine the HQ unit and the field staff as one. So today I'm asking my fellow delegates and Democrats to stand with these workers and call on the NCDP executive leadership to live up to our democratic values, bargain in good faith, respect organized labor, and deliver a fair contract that honors the dedication and hard work of these staff members who continue to fight every day for our candidates and for our party. Thank you.
We're going to construe this as if I had been smart enough to put new business in the agenda. So we're treating this under new business. And again, indulge us, we have some housekeeping to finish yet. So having said that, I think it would be appropriate, you put that in the form of a motion?
I did.
And we have a second. Is there a speaker who would like to come to the mic and discuss this from the other side? That is to say, in opposition. Do we have anybody in opposition?
What is it?
Yes. Give your name and county, please.
Jesse Alden, Catawba County. Can we clarify what exactly the motion is?
For the 10th delegation to support our staff unions.
Is that in order for a vote?
Well, we're putting this under new business. So under new business, it is now in order. I guess the question is, do you have it succinctly stated, or do you need to bake it down? Can you come back to the mic and sort of bake your motion down to something? I don't want the whereas, just the motion part.
There we go. So I'm asking to make a motion for the 10th delegate district to support the staff union workers in their attempt to obtain a fair contract from the state executive party.
Okay, and Kimberly, your second holds on that? Okay, so again, is there anybody who wants to speak in opposition? then we will put it to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries, and we will communicate that to the NCEB. Where are we with, I see katanas being distributed. Have all the counties received their ballots? All right, will the convention indulge that we move to the second vice chair's position? And again, we're still resolving it. Okay. Donna? I'm going to open the floor to nominations on the second vice chair. Go ahead, Donna. Janine McSwain? Hold on. We can't hear you. You got to come to the mic. But it's not time for nominating speeches yet. But come to the mic anyhow. All right, we have one nomination for second vice chair, and I should have prefaced it by saying we have, it is the plan of organization direction that every county in a congressional district be represented in the executive committee and the officers. Now that doesn't hold exactly true when you're filling vacancies. However, it is good to keep in the spirit of things. And the fact is that Lincoln is, of the 5 counties in the district, the only without an officer. So it would be balancing to the plan of organization process that a candidate come out of Lincoln County. Having said that, the floor is still open to other nominees. Yes, I need name and county, please.
I am Andrea Breeder, here at CER for Lincoln County, and I nominate George Gooch, G-O-O-G-E, Forsyth County.
We can't hear you from up here. She has a hard time, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I am Andrea Breeder, Forsyth, G-R-A-T-E-R, and I nominate George Gooch, G-O-O-C-E, Forsyth County.
Okay, thank you. Yes, please.
I'm Barbara Anderson from Iredell County, and I am nominated by husband Bruce Anderson for the second vice chair.
Good with that? Are there any other nominations? Barbara. Do we have any other nominations for second vice chair? And again, parenthetically, all of these officer positions will be up in the odd year. So next year. Next year's district convention.
Does every county have their ballots at this point? Are they, wait a minute, I'll take that question, but hang on. So they are different colors, seems from here, is that correct? Yes. And so are there specific, do they specifically note the election, which one's which? So please, as a delegate, please get the right, because we've got 3 elections we've kind of put off to these ballots. That's true too, excuse me. Mr. Parker, the esteemed former chair of the Democratic Party when I was a district chair, and just an old man of the party. I did not know that both of us ran in '76 and did not win a trip to the DNC meeting, to the National Convention, but that's another thing we have in common. Anyway, he has suggested, and I think it's as a parliamentarian, I'm going to leave the ruling to the chair, listen to me, okay, is that the county chair or his or her designee can count the votes from the county. And then we will call the counties and you will report the vote, which we will take down up here. Again, it gets older and older. That's the way it used to be in the old days, in the county chair. Does anybody have an objection to that? We want to be fair. Good Democrats here. I think that's a really simple way rather than trying, yes ma'am.
But they should have a second, having done paper ballots at SEC, so that people counting just.
Yeah, there should be more than one person counting. It's not from the. If there's an objection to a vote given by the county chair or his or her designee, that is supposed to be made at that time, and it can be challenged. Now, as far as counting up the total votes, you were right, September. He's going to need to get at least 2 tellers to do that. And so we'll see how that works in just a minute. Any other questions? You had a question in from Catawba County. It's hard to see people's faces. Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, we've got 15 minutes. We got to get to the resolution. So is the first item on the floor here is resolutions and platform committee? Is everybody ready to vote on that? Do so. Yes. We're doing resolutions and platform committee. Okay.
Okay. Bottom button.
Okay, point of order. Can we get the names of the people we're voting on the screen, please?
No, we really can't.
No, we can't?
Not really.
You can't adjust those like that?
15 minutes until we're getting kicked out of the auditorium.
Okay, can we at least get like who's running for second vice chair? Because we have people that don't know.
Resolutions and platform, which is Benjamin Spencer and Matt Sedinski, correct?
Okay, that's your yellow ballot,
So 30 years as an educator has taught me that what I'm about to say you probably already figured out very well. If I could have your attention for just a moment. If I could have order. Aubrey, could I have order for a minute? That's okay. You have the unfortunate role of knowing me. I just wanted to make sure you write in the name. Because on the ballot I got, I don't have anywhere to check off names. So I know that's obvious, but I've been doing this a long time and people just don't do the obvious. So.
Scott Bowen with Forsyth County. There has been a request to put the names up on the screen so we can vote. Is that possible? That is not possible.
I would like to accommodate you, but I don't know how to do it. So again, we're voting on resolutions and classified committees. Benjamin Spencer from Forsyth County, Matt Stinsky from Catawba County.
You can just type it on that slide.
Forsyth County, we're balanced. We're balanced. You're good.
County chairs are bringing the ballots to the assessing levels.
I can speak louder than I have to. We don't know the people that think like this for us.
Can
we need a couple of tellers. Who would like to volunteer to help us?
Is there a non-delegate in this place at the moment? Would you please come forward?
Like upstairs?
Yeah, you can. Is there another delegate? Is there another I'd like a female if possible. I would like a female if possible.
Who do we have?
I don't have to have one.
I'm a non-delegate.
Okay, you're a non-delegate? Come on up. Thank you. Is he from the same county? No. I love you, but no, I need a different county. Is there a non-delegate here from another county besides Pennsylvania? To be fair, I'm just trying to be fair. Clark? Clark, you can do the talk. That will give me a few more. That's fair. Well, once the delegate is elected, all they have to do is have their presentation. They're not trying to figure out what they Do you all, may I have your attention, please, really quickly, please, thank you. You all, county chairs and delegates, you all understand that all you have to count is the total number of votes. Now, in some cases, and I'm going to use Bradley again as a good example, you have 3 people here, but you have 19 votes. So each vote divides down some. But that all is figured out in weighted voting. All you need is the total number of votes from your county delegation. And the actual vote, like Beth, do you know how many votes Iredell County has? 149. She has to do some, we have to do some math with that. Once the county chairs give you a vote, then we're going to see if we can figure this. Oh, great. Oh, we brought you. That's okay. You went to college.
Okay, I would like to get to the second vice chair vote. Have all the ballots for platform and resolutions been turned in? Is anybody holding a ballot? Is there any reason why we can't move on to the second vice chair? Do you all have your ballots for that?
We are going to turn them in.
Has everybody voted for both resolution and second vice chair?
No. We weren't told to.
I know, but is anybody in front of me, still holding a second vice chair ballot? Okay, the names are on the screen. Let's vote. If you haven't, get your ballot into your county chair.
While the heavy math is being done left, right, north, south, we have got a couple of minutes here, and I would like to draw our attention to the resolutions. Each of these there's two resolutions. Each has 2 pages. So let's start with the first one. This is a resolution calling for the banning of face masks by law enforcement officers. Does the convention need this to be read? There's no debate, there's no amendment, it's up or down. Does the convention need this to be read to them, or are they prepared to vote?
Motion to proceed.
I don't see any objection, so I'm going to move to a vote on the first one. Again, we'll get your copies during the day. We'll just give you the whole list. Okay, we are on a resolution calling for the banning of face masks by law enforcement officers. This came out of Forsyth County. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes carry. We're going to go to the second. Second resolution, this also came out of Forsyth County. And let me parenthetically say, no other counties gave us resolutions, so there's no editing. We had two are being presented. This resolution is resolution calling for the disbanding, it's a funny word, of ICE. I thought of eradication or something. Dissolution. Does this resolution need to be read?
No.
Is the convention prepared to vote on it?
Yes.
Okay, again, this is the resolution calling for the disbanding of ICE. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Ayes carry. We've now moved through resolutions. The only thing I had left was, let me just ask this question. Does anybody on the floor have an announcement that they want to make?
Do I have an announcement?
Oh, good. Please, it takes like
It says on, oh, there it was, okay. I would just like to invite everybody to come over to our headquarters, maybe grab a bite to eat beforehand. You can bring it over there too, and help us make friendship bracelets. We're starting at 1:30, and we would love for you to come and help us. You can take one home with you, and it'll be a great time. Come on. S is at 233 East Front Street. It's like 5 minutes from here, probably like 2 minutes from here. We have all the supplies there, so you don't have to bring anything. Thanks, guys. Till 3.
Has everybody turned their ballots into Nancy or somebody? Has each county chair or designee turned it in?
yeah. Have all the,
Just ask county by county.
That's what I would.
okay. Brad, have you turned yours in? Thank you.
Who has it, right?
Kimberly?
Yes.
Okay. Beth?
Yep.
You turned yours in?
Sure did.
Okay. I think Jenny's
Yes.
turning them in.
Jenny's foresight. See, she has the
Yeah,
ballots. We have them.
Yeah, they're up there.
We've got foresight.
Yeah.
No, don't think they told me they didn't have any other counties' ballots.
Okay. Okay.
No, you don't have all the ballots. Because she gave you a number.
Right.
I don't have the people.
All right.
We need your ballots for Claire because they can be looked at later. That's just a rule.
Okay, but for the purpose of this convention, we're going to get kicked out of this room in negative 3 minutes.
She has to make. She does. She is government. It's talent. County chairs.
It's live.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so, Platforms and Resolutions Committee, the winner is Ben Spencer. And second vice chair.
She says they got the winner because she got a majority, correct?
Oh, wait, was it a majority? Oh, it's only 2 people, so it had to be.
That happened.
That had to be.
The one with 3. The one with 3.
It is. It is a majority. Second vice chair, the winner is Jordan Gooch.
And can you just review the worksheet with the tellers? Yeah. Okay. I think I've run down through the agenda, and the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Jeff Marshall, so moved. Jeff Marshall,
Marshall.
Forsythe, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I need one person to stand up. Kimberly Turner. Coffee County. Any objection? Again, thank you for joining us. I hear none. The convention is adjourned. Thank you for joining us.